In the last video, I built a robot that could walk along the ground using just the Create mod. Today, we're going to make that robot even better. You might notice already there's been a few changes to this machine. In today's video, I want to talk about how I put the redstone brain onto the body. We're going to speed the machine up, and we're going to figure out how to make it turn. And then finally, when everything is done, we actually get to decorate this thing. Firstly, speed. All I did here was speed up the pistons, allowing the legs to move quicker, and speed up the sequence to match. The top of the screen is the old design, and the bottom is the new sped up version. Whilst it doesn't look that much faster, over distance, it's certainly going to add up. Time to put the redstone on the body. The first thing I did was take all the redstone that I had laid out all over the place and compact it down to make the body as small as possible, trying to fit everything into a 10 by 13 square. Get out of here. I am pretty jazzed. I've managed to get all of the blue section into this little box, all of the yellow and green sections into this little box. The biggest achievement, honestly, is getting one entire section of this. This is the sequence that fires all of these steps, and that mess over there is now in one of these squares, which is really, really neat. It does mean we're going to have 5 layers. There's 2 of these blue layers, 1 for each, the red and the blue. There's this layer, and then there's 2 of these, 1 for each leg too. Which is, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be tall. I think I will draw out the red circuit and the other sequence for the red leg on the floor here before we put them on the body, because they're going to be stacked up in layers. Once they're in, they're going to be really difficult to access. So I think I want to test everything on the floor and then print it on, because it's almost certainly not going to work first time. Look at how compact these are now. They're so tiny. I am really happy with how these have come out. This is the whole circuitry for the machine. It can get stacked on top of each other. I'm a little bit worried about the redstone blocks going through the floors, but I don't think that'll be a problem. And all that's left now is to test these segments to make sure that nothing is broken when I've transferred them over and tweaked things. And I'm going to do that on this machine, the one that's missing a leg. We will put a new leg on it. And then, assuming it all works, these are going straight onto the body. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the first test is going about as well as could be expected. I don't want to speak too soon, but I think this is all back working again. That took a lot longer than I was expecting. I just hit record to show you my new on-off switch, and obviously a wandering trader has shown up. They love standing in the circuits. I don't know why. Please, madam, could you and your llamas move? That would be fantastic. Thanks. Yes, I've managed to squeeze the on-off system into the tiny little gap that we had in the yellow-green section. It's fairly simple. Both legs now send to this receiver when they finish their whole sequence, which then toggles these switches, and if the copper bulbs are off, we'll fire the next one in the sequence. If the copper bulbs are on, then it just holds the signal until we turn the copper bulbs off. So currently the machine is not moving. If I hit this button, it starts the next sequence, and then we can hit this button again, and it will finish that leg, and then it won't go any further until we hit the button again. And I think we're ready to put everything behind me onto the body, except for that wandering trader. You know, I actually think this looks pretty cool. This forest of sticky uppy antennas and redstone-y bits. It looks kind of like a city building, or like some kind of weird server situation. I don't know. I like it. It looks neat. Is it going to work? That is anybody's guess. It's definitely falling apart. I don't think the legs were set up right. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh, oh, oh my. This is our problem right here. This guy is the redstone link which controls the leg movements. The problem is that it's saving the redstone on this line here, and my guess is that when it places the contraption back in its new position, this redstone doesn't know which direction it's traveling, and so it refires this. And then it gets stuck here again because it's just refired this, and then it gets stuck again and stuck again and stuck again, and that's why it was looping continuously. I've moved some things around, and this is the new system I've come up with. Possible paths of redstone now lead to this point and then travel through the repeaters to the receiver that's going to fire the leg movement, which prevents the redstone signal from repeatedly firing and then is just held in a pulse repeater until it continues through the rest of the sequence. Attempt number 2, here we go. Why did I not build this out of glass to begin with? There are a few examples, like here, where we have a receiver on top. When that gets powered, it's actually powering through underneath and powering the transmitter at the bottom, or just powering a redstone line that it's on top of. So I've just gone around and replaced the few problem areas. Attempt 1000. That's one leg. Next leg's going. Next leg does not seem to have gone. Interesting. Gotta shut this off. Those copper bulbs on the top are on. That means it's off. It's not going to do another step, although it does seem to be doing another step. Another problem of this being on the contraption, this locking system here, the copper bulb, when it's on, locks the signal to prevent the leg from starting its sequence. When we unlock the bulb and the leg starts its sequence, as soon as the body becomes a contraption, because this line here is live, when it becomes a physical thing again, this comparator will let the signal through again and starts the sequence again, and that causes all sorts of problems where we have the same sequence firing twice and then also ending and firing the next sequence, which then also fires twice, and so it's firing all sorts of things. So really what needs to be happening is this needs to become a temporary gate that opens briefly at the beginning of each sequence, locks, and then can also be double locked. This system has become a lot more complicated because of that, and I don't know if we're going to be able to fit it in on this little bit of the body. It took a lot of shuffling, but I have actually managed to get the locking system onto the body. I've just put a layer of concrete in the way so that you can actually see what's going on, because it is a mess looking at all this glass. The system's actually pretty simple. It's the same principle. There's a receiver here. When a leg finishes its sequence, it flips these two switches. The switch that's on corresponds to the leg that's at the back, so the leg that's going to move next. When the leg finishes its sequence, it also swaps these two switches here. They fire just after the redstone line has passed through here. This prevents it from refiring when the contraption's moving. Then there's a second lock, which is activated by this receiver, which stops the contraption, and then this receiver here, which starts the contraption. The start receiver also has a receiver here, which is a little jumpstart mechanism which temporarily opens this switch, allowing the signal to go through, and then closes it again once it's gone through the first time. I also wanted to mention that I have actually had to put this small piece of circuitry onto each leg, because the switch is on, it changes the direction of this piston, and when the contraption is moving, that means that this is temporarily disabled. Suddenly the piston wants to move back, and then suddenly it's enabled again and it starts to move forward, and that's what's causing some of the juddering that we're seeing. Look at this thing. It looks crazy. I love it. It's so goofy looking. I think in a way it looks kind of nice with the glass. It just becomes this mess of redstone-y bits and bobs. Is it gonna work? Your guess is as good as mine. Oh my god, it's working. Finally. Okay, great. Not quite sure what all that juddering is about. Again, might be a frame issue. I don't have any frames. How am I going to be able to record this? I've been thinking about how this machine is going to turn, and I think the best way for it to turn is to pivot around each of the 2 feet. I've built a little test prototype behind me to show you what I mean. This way, when the legs move, one pivots around the other. Oh god. I've lost control of the legs. Okay, here they go. Could have a system where the body rotates the 2 legs at once, but I think that's going to look a little strange as both legs are going to be moving at the same time and they'll be kind of floaty. And at least this way, one leg is always attached to the ground. At this point, I designed the turning logic, once again getting it to fit in that 10 by 13 space. It's activated by an AND gate when the player presses a turn button, and when the leg finishes a rotation or if the machine's not moving is updated by the player, the turning sequence starts. The sequence itself consists of a logic gate determining which way we're turning based on which button's pressed, and some circuits to temporarily attach the legs whilst we make the turn. I started testing this circuit on the ground, as I have with the others, and... Whoa. What is going on here? Turns out what's going on is that I'm dumber than even I thought. Turning the machine from the bottom of the legs means that all of the pistons on the legs will change direction when the machine turns 180 degrees, and so they all extend. This means we need to put the turning point at the top of the leg before the body so that just the body and the other leg move, and everything below each leg's pair of mechanical bearings at the turning point stays in the same orientation. So I thought while I was doing that, I'd tidy the legs up a little. I am super happy with this new leg design. It's much taller than the old design. It's 6 blocks taller than the old leg, where the old leg was 7 across and 4 deep. This is 3 by 3. This is some footage of me testing the turning once I had played around with all the circuitry to get it to work, and added the turning circuit onto the brain. We have a robot that walks, it can go up and down, and it can turn. And finally, we get to decorating. What I wanted to do quickly was just map out where I think some of the decoration is going to go. And the reason I'm doing this is because the thing we need to think about here is the fact that the leg is going to extend. This blue section is now the middle section of the leg, which is this bit here to this bit here, and so the yellow section will sit inside, so when it extends we don't end up exposing the internals of the mech, and we have these overlaps then, so the whole leg is gonna look something like that, with each bit extending out from the next section, and then all the way at the top when we finally get a final color, there'll be something that comes out from the body. Something like that. Ta-da! This is a chunky boy. Like a heavy metal forge walking castle fortress thing. So it's even got like lava chimneys, some kind of core nuclear reactor-y thing going on. Let's not talk about the back. But the legs, I think, are super cool, and I'm really excited for them to be animated. Let me know what you guys think of this thing. I'm not really much of a builder, but I do like this. I think it looks really goofy and fun. Let's see if we can make this move. The combination of a lot of redstone and a lot of glue is really hurting my computer. It is struggling. So I've decided to end the video without the body decoration, and I've made a little obstacle course for the machine to show off its legs in action. I've had a great time making this walker, but it has taken me a long time to finish it, and I'm really excited to get onto some new ideas that I have for future videos. Please like, follow and subscribe, but especially get in the comments. I'd love to know your ideas for things that we can make in the future. I'll see you next time.